Welcome back to the Letter Room, where we uncover the passionate words of leaders who forged nations from dreams. Today, we journey to the very heart of Zionist history, with a powerful letter from David Ben-Gurion, the founding father of Israel, written on March 19, 1930, to Harold Rosenberg, an American Zionist activist. This is far more than simple correspondence. It is a blueprint for Jewish revival, drafted amid violence, unrest, and British indecision. It reveals Ben-Gurion's vision for a Jewish homeland in Palestine, a vision filled with urgency, unity, and resolve. The year is 1930. David Ben-Gurion, then 44 years old, is not yet the world-famous prime minister we remember today, but a rising figure in the Zionist movement. He leads the Histadrut Labor Federation, the backbone of Jewish organization in British Mandate Palestine. The context is turbulent. Just the year before, in 1929, riots had erupted in Hebron and Safed, leaving dozens of Jews murdered and communities displaced. Arab resistance is fierce, and the British Mandate seems hesitant, wavering under pressure, unclear whether it will truly uphold its promise of a Jewish national home. In this atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, Ben-Gurion puts pen to paper in Tel Aviv, reaching across the ocean to American allies like Rosenberg, urging them to strengthen the cause with immigration, funding, and solidarity. This letter is remarkable because it captures both the hope and the peril of its moment. Jewish factories are producing textiles and cement. A sunlit office in Tel Aviv, 1930, filled with stacks of papers and books. A sturdy wooden desk with an inkwell sits beneath a window, overlooking T. He calls for new settlements, for kibbutzim, where Jews could work the land and build self-reliance. He stresses the role of defense, discreet but crucial, through the Haganah. And he reminds Rosenberg that, beyond politics, what sustains the Zionist project is the will of young pioneers Halitzim ready to sacrifice comfort for the dream of national rebirth. At the same time, the letter shows Ben-Gurion's realism. He acknowledges deep divisions within the Zionist ranks, particularly the revisionists under Jabotinsky, who sought a more militant approach. Ben-Gurion insists instead on constructive socialism, believing that Arabs might one day be won over through economic cooperation rather than confrontation. Yet he also makes clear that the Jews must defend themselves if attacked. What makes this letter especially powerful for us today is its sense of urgency. Ben-Gurion sees anti-Semitism rising in Europe long before the Holocaust arrives. He senses the danger, the coming storms, and he urges immediate action: immigration, labor, land purchases, education. He envisions Jaffa's oranges being shipped abroad, Jewish factories producing textiles and cement, and tens of thousands of new arrivals, tipping the demographic scales in favor of Jewish survival. For the Letter Room audience, this document offers something rare: not just the voice of a statesman, but the humanity of a dreamer, a strategist, a man balancing stark warnings with determined optimism. Like Churchill's wartime letters addressed to youth, this message is part prophecy, part plea, part plan. It invites us into a moment where history was not yet written, but was being shaped by words, courage, and vision. So let's step back into 1930 Tel Aviv and hear David Ben-Gurion's letter to Harold Rosenberg, a timeless call for unity, labor, and the Jewish future.
Tel Aviv, March 19, 1930. Dear Harold Rosenberg, I received your letter of February 15th with great interest and appreciation. Your support for the Zionist cause is a source of strength for us here in Palestine. The challenges we face are immense, but letters like yours remind us that we are not alone in this struggle for Jewish revival. The situation in Palestine is tense. The recent riots in Hebron and Safed have shown the depths of Arab opposition to our settlement efforts. 24 of our people were killed, and hundreds injured or displaced. Yet, we cannot falter. The land is ours by right of history and need. It is the only place where the Jewish people can rebuild their national home after centuries of exile and persecution. The British mandate promises us a homeland, but their policies waver, influenced by Arab pressures and their own imperial interests. We must press on with immigration and development, regardless. Our movement, Histadrut, is growing. We have organized labor councils in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem, uniting workers from all backgrounds. Yiddish-speaking from Poland, Ladino from the Sephardim, even some from Yemen. The key is unity. Without it, we cannot build the institutions needed for a viable state. I am pushing for more agricultural settlements, kibbutzim, where Jews can till the soil and learn self-reliance. The pioneers halutzim are the backbone, young, idealistic, willing to sacrifice for the dream. But we need more funds from America. Your community there can help raise money for land purchases, tools, and education. I worry about the divisions within our ranks. The revisionists under Jabotinsky want a more aggressive approach, perhaps even military action. But I believe in constructive socialism. We must win the Arabs over through economic cooperation, not confrontation. Yet, if they attack, we must defend ourselves. The Haganah is our shield, discreet but ready. The future of the Jewish people depends on this land. Without it, we are scattered, vulnerable to every pogrom and discrimination. Tell your friends in New York that Palestine is blooming. Oranges from Jaffa are exported to Europe. Our factories produce textiles and cement, but we need more immigrants, tens of thousands, to make this a majority. The Holocaust hasn't happened yet, but the signs are there. Anti-Semitism in Europe is rising. We must act now. I look forward to your continued support. Write soon with news of your efforts. Together, we will build Eretz Israel. Sincerely, David Ben-Gurion.
And so the letter concludes David Ben-Gurion's fervent message to Harold Rosenberg in 1930, a letter that in many ways helped lay the foundations of Israel. Reading it now, with hindsight, feels like standing at the edge of history, watching a nation being imagined before it came into being. What makes this letter endure is its prophetic urgency. Ben-Gurion speaks of riots that expose the fragility of Jewish life, of British indecision that endangered Zionist hopes, and of the pressing need for unity among Jews divided by language, culture, and ideology. He insists on immigration and development, knowing that only numbers and labor could secure the dream. His call for kibbutzim reflected not only socialist ideals, but the conviction that survival required self-reliance. His acknowledgement of defense through the Haganah shows his awareness that peace could not be guaranteed without strength. Equally striking is his appeal to American Jews. He knew that the dream in Palestine could not thrive without global support. Funding for land, tools, and education was critical, and Rosenberg's community in New York represented a vital link between the fragile Yishuv and the Jewish diaspora. In reaching out, Ben-Gurion underscored the global nature of Zionism. It was not a local struggle, but a worldwide cause for Jewish survival. Placed in context, this letter carries even greater weight. In 1930, Palestine was a powder keg, its Jewish population still a minority, its Arab population resisting, and the British mandate swaying under competing pressures. Yet Ben-Gurion's leadership within the Histadrut was already laying the institutional groundwork. Labor councils, factories, cooperative farms, schools. These became the infrastructure that sustained the Jewish community through crisis and eventually into independence. For viewers of the letter room, this letter offers the same emotional resonance as the intimate words of Elvis or the determined wartime notes of Churchill. It is not only about politics, but about identity, survival, and vision. It shows Ben-Gurion as both strategist and dreamer, insisting that the Jewish people could not wait for history to decide their fate, they had to write it themselves. Today, Ben-Gurion's legacy is contested but enduring. He is remembered as the man who declared Israel's independence in 1948, who guided the fledgling nation through its earliest trials. Yet here, in this 1930 letter, we see him still in the midst of struggle, uncertain, yet determined. It is a reminder that nations are not born in triumph alone, but in the persistence of leaders who hold fast to their vision amid chaos. This letter, urgent and unpolished, captures the soul of a movement that would change history. It reminds us of the cost of freedom and the resilience required to achieve it. Thank you for joining us here at the Letter Room. If this letter moved you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, let's continue uncovering the words that reveal the hidden hearts of history's giant